Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Goze, the Black Love Permissionist. I am a certified life coach and feminine empowerment coach. I am also an interpersonal and intrapersonal relationship advocate, speaker, writer, educator, facilitator, and I focus exclusively on supporting African American relationships, if that's how you refer to yourself. Black people in America, Black Americans, especially those who are descendants of American slavery, indigenous Americans, those who have been heavily impacted by racism in America and white supremacy. Just to be clear, that's what I focus on. That's who I focus on. I will say that the work that I do is womanist work. I definitely push for us to decolonize our relationships. I push for us to let go of all that does not serve us, that did not come from us, but that we are carrying it. Today I'm just on here flowing. I just took a spiritual bath, and so my hair has gotten wet, and anybody who understands 4C hair, my poor baby little twists have shrunken. And so I came on here today to talk about something very near and dear to me, as I've been doing 31 days of Black Love Permissionism. Today is day 13. And day 13, the point is simply relationships are a matter of life and death. Relationships are a matter of life and death. And as soon as I said that, I thought about the scripture in the Christian Bible that talks about how the power of life and death is in the tongue. And I thought about that, and there's truth in that, right? We can say things that can really speak life into people, and we can say things that can end lives. But what I wanted to focus on was the power of relationship. And oftentimes, if we're not aware of it, our relationships really are a matter of life and death. And I'm not just saying that to be dramatic. I mean that. That's why I do the work that I do. That's why I've been talking about 31 days of Black Love Permissionism, because I want the people who are looking for me to find me. If you're out there and you've been thinking, I really want somebody who gets me, who can help me, then I want to make sure you know what I got going on in case I'm that person. I'm trying out these little iPads. I'm really trying to give myself some love today. I need it. There's stuff going on. I'm very sensitive to what's going on with other people. A lot of times I feel things, even things that aren't said, and I got my own stuff going on, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But that's what we're focusing on today. Today we're talking about how relationships are a matter of life and death. Again, that is not being dramatic. They are. And so, first thing I wanted to talk about for people who are into this kind of thing, I did a workshop a couple of years ago, and I still have the workshop, the video called You Make Me Sick: How Our Relationship Beliefs Show Up in Our Bodies. That was the workshop. And we dug into the metaphysics behind the top 10 reasons why Black people die in America. So I looked up data from the CDC. I looked up data from, I want to say 2020, 2021, and I looked up the top 10 reasons why Black people die. And of course, we have heart trouble. We have heart trouble. If anyone's coming on, we're talking about how our relationships are a matter of life and death. So, of course, we had heart trouble. You know, we have cancer. That's a big one. We have respiratory issues, you know, your COPDs, your asthma. We have your kidney failure, liver problems, you know, anything related to those things. And it was something very interesting that came up in this, because you might think, well, what does that have to do with relationships? You know what I mean? Like, we need to eat better. Clearly, we're too stressed out, and oppression and all of that. You know, that's why I teach, honey, everything is relationship, because it's all connected. It's all relationship. It all works together. It's not one thing, right? That's why I say everything is relationship. So it is our relationship with food. It is our relationship with oppression. It is our relationship with the different systems and isms, you know, colonialism, capitalism, the patriarchy, all the things that I'm always talking about. But how does that trickle down on a day-to-day basis? Well, it looks like us not knowing how to have healthy relationships with one another. That's why I'm an interpersonal and intrapersonal relationship advocate, because oftentimes we've carried so much intergenerational trauma down, we've carried so much historical trauma down that it impacts us, and now we have interpersonal trauma that we're passing across to each other. And so one of the things that came up, you know, I looked into the metaphysics behind a lot of our illnesses. So anytime you're dealing with any kind of heart problem, heart disease, oftentimes, you know, just to simplify it, you know, there's more to it. But simply put, people who die of heart disease are heartbroken people. People who die of heart disease are people who have suppressed heartache. They have emotional problems that have been long-standing, that they have never been able to be safe enough to work through, be heard enough by the right people, or even offer themselves the support. What you're looking at is people who have been hurt and harmed and unsupported for a long period of time. That is what we're talking about when we are talking about heart issues, heart problems that show up with Black people. My own mom, right? She died of a heart attack, and my mom was probably one of the most heartbroken people I ever knew. And we have a lot of heart trouble in my family, you know, and just to say, and I'm just going to be flowing, you know, today. So, you know, for people who might not, you know, be with that, you know, I do post a lot of, you know, kind of curated content, and I do write. If you want to follow me on Substack, it's the Black Love Permissionist on Substack. I think or it might be Black Love Permissionist on Substack. I have a website, you know, if you want to look on there. You know, I do have a blog. I am a writer on Facebook, my business page. You can look at that. But today, this isn't as curated. I'm talking. Today, I'm here because I have things that I just want to talk about, and I'm also learning how to use TikTok. So, you know, if you're on here, you're learning with me. But the thing is, heart disease, you know, that's not just diet. That's not just lack of exercise. It's not just, you know, lack of adequate health care, right? It is. And those are all relationships, right? Our relationship with the healthcare industry is a complicated relationship, to say the least. Our relationship with food it is interesting. It is interesting that we have historically in America ate the lowest quality of food, and now Americans, you know, we have the lowest quality of food. And then if you're a Black American and you are not in the middle or upper middle class, you also may not have the diet that a person with more money might have. So we're not going to discount it, but what we're really going to talk about is the heartache, the heartbreak, the pain, because a lot of us don't know how to relate to one another in a healthy way. That's why I'm always pushing for Black love permissionism, giving our Black asses permission to learn a new way to love, a new way to connect. And when I say new, I don't mean I made up some new shit. I like to make up new shit, but no, you know, it's just that my approach to love is not traditional, it's more ancestral. When we're talking about cancer, cancer is a disease of resentment, right? Anybody who's read books like The Body Keeps the Score or Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life or You Can Heal Your Body. And we're talking about cancer. I have never met a person who had cancer, whether they survived or didn't, who didn't also have a ton of resentment that they either internalized from someone else, from their environment, or carried in themselves. I haven't met a person. I haven't met a woman with breast cancer who's battled with breast cancer who didn't over nurture and carry resentment around her maternal contributions. And when I say maternal, I don't mean just moms. I don't mean just moms. A lot of us are mothers, whether we had kids or not. A lot of us are mothers to children that we did not birth, right? A lot of us are in positions to mother. A lot of Black women are mothering our partners, right? Raising children that are not ours. It's just, oftentimes it's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. And we can get into how we ended up there. But that's not the focus of today. Today, the focus is relationships are a matter of life and death. So when you have women over mothering, and maybe they don't have a space to share what they're going through and why they feel bitter, right? Because no Black woman wants to be labeled bitter and angry, right? So you learn to keep stuff to yourself. And then when you end up with breast cancer, everybody says, oh my God, oh my God. Because our relationships and our inability to relate in healthy ways makes us sick. They do. They do. And even more so now because we have so much access to mental health language, right? Mental health books. And a lot of times we're just throwing around these mental health buzzwords, right? Because some of us have gotten a hold of a psychology book. I mean, I have a degree in psychology. You know, we got our hands on, you know, the Gen X kids and the millennial kids. We got our hands on some psych books because we said, man, the way these people raised us, this shit ain't right. I know this shit ain't right. I know that there's another reason I'm here. I'm not here to just do and perform and whatever this shit is, right? So we got some books. And a lot of us are in a place where we are learning, we're intellectualizing, right? Crown chakra. We're visualizing something new. Third eye chakra. We are speaking about a new way of relating, right? That throat chakra is activated. We are talking, baby. We on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, whatever. Man, some of us, it even gets down to that heart chakra. But then what the fuck do we do? Oftentimes, solar plexus. Oftentimes, that sacral chakra, that root chakra. Oh, that's where that work is. Because we're intellectualizing what we're feeling and what we're thinking and what we're noticing, what we're experiencing, what we're observing. But it's something different that we need. And this is why I say relationships are a matter of life and death, because they are. But let's get more literal, because some people might feel like, oh, sis, you're reaching because you're talking about relationships are a matter of life and death, but then you named heart disease and you talked about diabetes and you talked about cancer, and I'm sorry, like radiation, all of our food is poisonous. What do you mean? Okay, cool. So when I got to number 6 in the top 10 reason why Black women between the age of 18 and 44 died, I want to say this was the year of 2021. Oh, that was simple. Murder. And you want to know who Black women were murdered by the most? Partners. intimate partner violence. Top 6 reason why black women between the ages of 18 and 44 died. Now that's my generation. Now we're talking about them late Gen Xers and early millennials. What's killing us? Because relationships are life and death. That's what we're talking about today. And I should have put a trigger warning up there for people who don't want to talk about something this heavy. But relationships really are a matter of life and death. That's why I get on here and I talk about what I talk about. Because top 6 for black women is interpersonal conflict, partner violence. Intimate partner violence. That means the man that you dated, typically a black man, because oftentimes, we hear all this talk about black women not liking black men, but we mostly date black men, right? Those are my preferred partners, right? Those are my preferred partners. And I'm not even the straightest edge, right? And black men are my preferred partners. I would identify as pansexual, polyamorous, very free-flowing. I like the spirit of a being more so than I care about the gender of a being. And I still prefer black men. I am partnered with a black man. And statistically, that is the norm for black women. So oftentimes, black women between the ages of 18 and 44, they're in their top 10, right? Like number 6 reason why they're dying is murder. And that is intimate partner violence most of the time, right? 50% of women in America are dying to femicide and interpersonal conflict, death by interpersonal conflict or intimate partner violence. But even more so for black women, even more so, like way more than our white counterparts. So that's why when black women are out here saying protect black women, they're really begging for the world to see us as humans and literally to stop killing us, stop harming us, stop beating us, right? It's rough because relationships are life and death. So, I know this is kind of heavy, and I'm not coming on here to try to bash anyone. I definitely am not the kind of person who desires to contribute to any kind of gender war, because fuck that. That's not what Black Love Permissionism is about. But I think it is important for us to know the why behind the work that I do, right? Why am I so focused on relationships and interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships, right? Our relationships with one another, but our relationship with ourselves, right? Why is it so important for us to have that relationship with ourselves? Why is it so important for us to know how to actively take the steps to love ourselves? So many people say, well, just love yourself. Well, just love yourself. Self-love is the best love. We love to throw that stuff around. Well, just love yourself. We'll just spend more time with yourself. We'll just give it to yourself. What does that even mean? A lot of us have no clue. What steps do I take? In my community, the Year of Me, Mindfully Evolving, we talk about that. It's not nebulous. I give steps. I give tools. I give processes. Right? I teach different approaches. Research, evidence-based approaches. Rituals, steps that are respectful and reverent to our ancestry, and spiritual practices that resonate with us, for us, by us. And that's what Black Love Permissionism is about. That is what the Year of Me is about. It's a community group that I will be starting on Facebook. unless somebody else has a better idea. I know how to do Facebook groups because I facilitated groups on there before. But if you know a better way to do it, I'm open. If there's another place where I can do a group where we can pull people together. But it's $45 a month, y'all. Think about that. That's like $11 a week. If you took $11 from your fast food budget, right? Burger King or some shit, I don't know. Chipotle, I don't know. You took $11 a week and invested it in yourself, in your relationship with yourself. I guarantee you, we're doing it for a year. You come in this community and you are going to see change in how you show up for yourself and how the people in your village are showing up for you. If you are displeased with the men in your life, women, if you are displeased with the men in your life, men, if you're displeased with the women in your life, if you are not heteromantic or heterosexual and you're just not happy with the people in your life, hell, if you're ace, right? I support everybody on all the spectrums, all relationship types. I don't push heteronormativity, nor do I push monogamy. I focus on tools. I design protocols based on who you are as a person, because there is no one size fits all. I teach frameworks. And then we work those frameworks. We apply them, we adjust them to who we are, because there's no one size fits all. But the way we're relating right now, not knowing how to talk things out, not knowing how to hold proper space, the fact that there is a male loneliness epidemic, our men are in trouble. Our men are in trouble. Ooh, our men are in trouble. And women are starting to take their power back, and they're saying, oh, okay. They're not as generous, right? They want more. They're pulling back. Our men are in trouble. Our women ain't doing much better. Oh yeah, we're decentering men, and that's a great step. I support that. I'm all about the decentering romance all around. Finding a new way. What's a different approach to romance? Let's get off of what them people told us. Right? But relationships are a matter of life or death. I would go as far as to say that they are a public health issue. And this is why I do so much work with Black Love Permissionism. This is why. Because we don't know what we don't know. And even the people that we care about the most, we often don't know how to love them. Starting with ourselves. So, if you have some time to watch this video, feel free to. That is my point today. Day 13 is relationships are a matter of life and death. They're not something to take lightly, which is why it's important for us to learn some new tactics, processes, protocols, and approaches to talking to one another, to relating to one another. A lot of us do not know how to relate. We do not know how to love. We do not know how to resolve conflict. We do not know how to stop carrying resentment, fear, pain, anxiety in our bodies. So a lot of times when we're talking about that stuff, we're just intellectualizing, we're theorizing, we're pontificating. It's rhetoric. But you join my group, The Year of Me. You can DM me. I'm ready. You can comment if you like. And I can put you in this private group where only people in there who are ready to mindfully evolve will be in there. And we are going to learn to do relationships different. So again, my name is Goze. I'm the Black Love Permissionist, life coach, relationship advocate, and I care. That's really what it comes down to. I've gotten here because I've seen how it's even impacted me. how it's even impacted me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's come together. Let's come together and really get to the nuts and bolts of building and cultivating something new. Some new shit. Some new shit that our ancestors have always offered to us, but we adopted someone else's ways. So let's let go of the tradition and get ancestral with it. I love you all. That is this small business that I own, Omio My Coaching. It is my love letter to Black people. Mwah. I'm out.